Hey guys, it's Kay from KS Anonymous, and I am back today with another episode of r/AskReddit. Today's question is, what is the dumbest idea you have ever had that actually worked? Bet my husband I could fix the dent in the car with a plunger. It worked. I got rear-ended one time right around Christmas and had a dent in my back bumper. That summer I had enough spare money to go get it fixed, but when I looked at the bumper, there was no dent. As the weather got hotter, it caused the bumper to expand and eventually it popped back into place. Real estate told me I had to have the carpets professionally cleaned, wasn't in the contract, or I'd lose my $800 bond. I did some research and found out I could become an accredited carpet cleaner as there are no official licensing boards in my state. So I did what any sane person would do. I paid the $85, did the online course, and got my certificate. Registered a business name, ABN, etc., all free. Handed the property management a copy of my accreditation and an invoice for services. I became a professional carpet cleaner and launched a vacate cleaning business that is still going 6 months later. I used to know a guy who every week would order his Saturday night curry for delivery while sitting in the pub and then walk over the road to the curry house and get it and himself delivered home. This went on for about 10 to 12 weeks. One week, we were sitting having a pint and the owner of the curry house walked in, took his order, and had him picked up from the pub. He said it was easier for everyone concerned. In university, I was late on an assignment that was supposed to be in my TA's Dropbox by noon that day. I didn't manage to get there until almost 3, so I was sure he had already emptied it. Now, the Dropboxes were literal boxes in cubbies with a slot on the front and a lock on them that prevented them from being pulled out. The rack holding them was just a basic metal frame with about 5 rows of boxes. My TA's box was somewhere in the middle of the shelf. So I figured, I'm late anyways, why not take a chance? And slipped my assignment into the box below my TA's box. I got my assignment handed back a few weeks later than everyone else, and it had a note from another TA scribbled on it that said, "Looks like this fell into my box by mistake." I got full marks on the assignment. I stuck my neck out for an ex-con on house arrest at my job. He interviewed well, but his availability was horrible between the ankle bracelet and meeting with his PO, drug treatment program, etc. My GM said no, and I said I'm doing it anyway. The first night he worked there, I found myself in a bind. He was the only person scheduled in the kitchen from 8 to 10 p.m., and I had no one who knew the kitchen besides myself because our store had a wicked virus traveling around. I told him, look dude, we're pretty screwed back here, and I'm going to try to keep my cool, but I can't promise. And because I'm the only manager on duty, I might have to run to the front and drive through. Well, this guy mastered production in about an hour. He was faster than my GM on the grills and fryers, and his attitude was so good. I waited on nothing, and he even tried to help me make sandwiches and send them out. He also managed to clean up the entire kitchen. He eventually moved to maintenance and fixed all the crap the previous guy ignored in a day. Then he moved to service for more hours when the hour restrictions came off and was great with the Karens. My GM got over the ankle bracelet, record, and tattoos and actually hired him for his house flipping business. All because I said, we need freaking employees and you can't be picky when he's the only guy I've interviewed in a month. On 4th of July, I was in Brooklyn in a neighborhood not too far from my own. Was having a heck of a time catching a cab when suddenly an ice cream truck pulled up. My apartment was right next to an ice cream truck depot. I knew any truck in the area was parking there. So I asked for a ride in what little Spanglish I knew. They obliged. Free ride home plus an ice cream cone. Big win. Awkward ride. I once faked being sick when I was in middle school and told my mom I had a sore throat and felt a cold coming on. She took me to the doctor, and it turned out that I did in fact have strep throat. Back in high school, I stopped by one of my teacher's rooms after class to ask him some questions about our homework. When I walked in, I noticed he was grading some of our tests. Of note, all of his tests were made up of multiple choice, true, false, or matching, and all of the answers were bubbled in. What I noticed was that instead of using an answer key to grade, he was just placing a stencil of the paper with the correct bubble punched out. The stencil wasn't transparent, so all it showed was whether we bubbled in the right answer or not. Flash forward to our next test, and I'm stuck on a true or false question. Knowing how he graded, I figured I'd bubble in both T and F, and if he caught it, it would be easy enough to claim it was an accident. Well, he didn't catch it, and I used that trick for the rest of the year for a little extra boost on all of his tests. In college, I was taking a class that required me to purchase an online textbook and workbook that was registered under your name, basically ensuring that each student would have to buy a new online copy each semester instead of buying used textbooks. I had a friend who took this class a semester before me, so we came up with the idea to message customer service and explain that I had recently gotten married, so my last name had changed, and I legally changed my first name from my friend's first name to my first name, and I would need them to change it in their system. It totally worked, and the rep even congratulated me on my marriage. When I was brand new to the army, we were training with another unit, and we had to defend the urban combat area Mount site from an incoming force. We were only allowed a few hours to prepare. One guy suggested that we set up tripwires to, at least, slow them down. The doors are all painted bright blue, and all anyone had was my package of black 550 cord, parachute cord, that could easily be seen. Setting this up, we thought there was no way they would miss it. I was wrong. Instead of checking the door like they were supposed to, the opposing force simply tried to rush through. I almost couldn't return fire due to the fact I was laughing so hard. I even put a piece just below knee level in the doorway to the room I was in. I turned around when I heard people falling over each other. I looked and almost the entire squad was crawling on top of each other trying to get up. I put my weapon on burst and emptied the magazine, then fumbled with my last one as I started to laugh even harder than before. After I blindly fired down the hallway, I just leaned against the wall and the entire group and myself just looked at the scene and started laughing. Then their platoon leader came running in and tripped over the same cord. At this point, I was done. Put my weapon on safe, put it against the wall, and tried not to pee my pants over the whole situation. Far from the dumbest working idea in the thread, but I once got an extra day to work on a video project in high school by coming to class with a video that was just a quarter second of blackness, eagerly volunteering to go first, then acting confused and scared when the file didn't work. The teacher took pity on me and told me to just bring it the following day, and I got to finish it that evening and still got full credits as if I did it on time. We had a noisy rotating rooster weather vane, loud enough to keep people awake on windy nights despite having it been lubed. So I filled the hole the rooster rotates in with Crisco, even though people said it was a dumb idea and wouldn't work. Never had to lube it again because the Crisco didn't break down like other lubes. I hope you all enjoyed those crazy, stupid ideas that actually turned out working. I don't think I would have the guts to try some of them, like the fake video file. I'm glad some of these ideas actually worked out really well for people, like the whole plunger and the dent. Or like the person who went and basically just started their own cleaning business thanks to basically maliciously complying to some stupid person's rules that wasn't even in the contract. Just beautiful. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like and let me know if you have had any dumb ideas that have actually ended up working out in the comments below. Real quick, I would like to thank my patrons. Up on the screen, you should see my face palmers and my crazy K's. Thank you all so much for supporting me in that way. If you all want to become a patron as well, or if you're interested in sending me stuff for possible future videos, all of that information is in the description box below. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!